Good to see you. We're talking about your purpose tonight. We got some folks on Zoom, some in Facebook land, some in Instagram land. Yeah. Woo! Wanda. Hola. Good to see you. How cool is this, huh? We can be connected all around the world. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Awesome. So we're going to share some stories. Hey, how are you, Wanda? Good to see you. We're going to share some stories tonight. We've got some folks with some questions that have sent their questions in and some joining us live. So we're just going to talk about living out your purpose and connecting that to entrepreneurship, understanding what you're here to do on the planet, and most importantly, how do we take action? How do we actually not just talk about it, but do it? And that's the next level. And that's what we're all about with Impact Junkie. That's what my life has been all about, especially it's been a whole life journey. We're going to talk about these circles here in just a second. So if you're watching on Instagram, you may not be able to see the screen. On Facebook, maybe you can see it. In Zoom, you can see it here. Hey, Dylan. Woo-woo, X's and snaps. That's right. So throw some X's in the chat, some snaps. All right, so there's levels of excitement. So snaps are a great way to visually show, like, hey, I love what you're saying. We use these in our demo days with Impact Junkies, you know. And then if you're really feeling it, you do the X's and the snaps. And then if you're really feeling like you're going to jump out the window excited, you do the flying X and snaps, like circles. So, yeah, let's see some of that. Good. All right. Well, it's a lot of fun when you're living out your purpose. You have a lot of fun living the dream. So let's jump right in. Are you ready? Does that sound good to everybody? We'll talk about some stories. We'll talk about living out your purpose. And then we'll talk about taking action. How do you actually do that? And it's easier than you think. Sometimes we make it harder than we should. So we're going to talk about that. So good to see you all. Man, I know we got some folks in here from Honduras, some on the other side of the world. I know it's late where you are. So glad you're here. How fun is this? Oh, man. The journey is better when you're doing it together. Earlier, I sent out an email talking about the Honduras tour that we did. We did it in January. We had over 1 million Impact Junkie, or 1 million Hondurans, including a lot of Impact Junkies, that were part of that broadcast with Teleprogreso, the U.S. State Department. And it was an awesome experience. And it was part of a 10-day tour all across Honduras with 13 stops. That was so cool. And I want to share some of those stories with you, if that's okay. I want to talk about some of these Impact Junkies and how inspiring their stories are, doing more with what they've been given. And that will inspire us all here tonight as well. I want to share some of the things that are happening in West Africa, how amazing it is, what great people are there, especially in Burkina Faso. And I'll share some of the stories there of what has happened and what is continuing to happen there. Also in Central Asia, in Kyrgyzstan, some really amazing things I want to share with you all tonight. So let's get after it. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? All right. Cool. So this circle here, for those of you who can see the screen, this represents your life. This is it. We talk about that 29,000 number, 29,000. That is it. That represents everything. That's what you get. 29,000 days. Whew. And then you've seen the graph where you got to subtract thousands of days, and you're left for education and school and doing grocery shopping and using the restroom. You spend over a year of your life in traffic. All of these things, and when you add them up, you're left with a little less than 5,000 days, meaningful days. But what if you could add those back in? What if you add back in your work and your education? And even that sleep. Thank you, Siri. And even that sleeping time, what if you didn't have to subtract a third of your days sleeping because you actually had things running even while you're sleeping, and people working around the world with you on living out your purpose? It's possible. I've seen it over and over. I've done it myself, and I've helped many others go through this same journey. You can do it. So this circle right here is a way to see your life. And I know sometimes we think of it in a linear, it's got to go follow this trajectory. But when you start seeing your life in circles, it's so much more refreshing. And it kind of lowers a lot of pressure when you see it from that perspective. This circle right here, when you see it from that perspective of you're just going around these circles. So this is a version of the hero's journey. This is you at the top with the little backpack on and the walking stick. And this is the format. You can go back and study the hero's journey, Joshua Campbell, and he studied all these religions and looked at all these stories. But you see this story in your own life if you really pause and reflect. And we spend a lot of time in the first module of the IJ framework, focusing on you and understanding your passion, purpose, and calling, understanding the inventory that you have, where you have been on your journey, and let's start there. Right now, as I'm talking, I hope you're thinking about what is the inventory you have in your life? What are the things you've been given, both the ups and the downs, the painful days, the beautiful days? That's all part of your story. And that's why we say do more with what you've been given, not just money. That is great, but what about the experiences you've gone through? What about the family experiences you've had? What about the painful losses that you've experienced? All of that is a gift for living out your purpose. What will you do with what you've been given? And so often we start at the top of this circle and we hesitate. We say, oh no, not me. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not ready. Somebody else should do it. This is too much. This is too scary, or I'm too busy. We come up with all kinds of excuses when we have that call to adventure. You feel that calling. You feel that call to something more. And this is where you start. And you could also look at the Bible. There's so many stories. I love looking at the Bible and seeing almost every character, the stories that God gave us. You see that hesitation, that pulling back. It's like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not worthy. Somebody else should do it. It's too big. I don't speak right. I've done too many bad things. I'm not qualified. How could that ever happen? And we try to talk ourselves out of it. And sometimes we're our own worst enemy in these situations. And so feeling that call to action, then if you do start to step towards that line represents the threshold, the threshold from the known to the unknown, from the comfortable where we are to the murky, I don't know what's under that line. I don't know what that looks like. It's scary. It's unknown. The things on top of that line, I can control. I can understand. I can handle it. No problem. But when you start to make the walk towards that line, you may have a guide, maybe someone like me. Hello. I love helping people take a step over that line, go past that threshold into the unknown. Into the unknown. It's a great song. Because once you do make that jump into the unknown, it is scary at first, but then something magical happens. Suddenly, all these new characters and business partners and friends and mentors and guides and investors all come into your story. They all come into your life. And suddenly it's not so scary. And you start having these experiences together, these challenges, these ups and these downs. And if you make it to the bottom of the circle, you're already stronger for the valleys, the rivers, the mountains you've had to climb, the rainstorms you've had to get through. It was just hailing right here where I was just before starting this video. But if you persevere through that death and rebirth experience at the bottom of the circle, you emerge as a new person. You emerge with a new set of experiences, with a new set of knowledge, with a new set of expertise and skills that then you take with you and you go back to the known, but this time it's a new known. You are a new person. It's a different experience, and you have actually gone higher. You've gone up to your next level in life. And that's how you should see your life. Oh, and one more important thing, that you're not just going back up by yourself, but now you've got a new set of people with you. All these new characters that have entered your story, all these people that weren't there before are now there with you, are following you on your journey, are part of your story now. And then you get to go and do it all over again. That's the beauty of this journey. So start thinking about your life in circles rather than just a one-way ticket, and seeing it not just as a straight path to the finish line, like in this image, but starting to appreciate the valleys, the rivers. When you've got to cross that volcano, you got to climb up that ladder up the big mountain. When you're climbing up, you actually appreciate those moments. You're thankful for those moments because that's actually helping you get better, so you can not only live out your purpose for yourself, but what I say at the beginning? You live out your purpose by helping other people live out their purpose. So what you're doing is you're really making these new relationships, new characters as you go on your journey to live out your God-given purpose. And what's beautiful about this image, if you can see it on Facebook and in here in the Zoom, if you just stayed at that low level, you would never, basically, if you zoom in on that top, it's just that first little ledge. And you would just stay right there. You'd stay at that first little hill, but you don't want to just stay at that first hill. You want to go on up. You want to go on up the mountain, get up to that top finish line, keep going up. And as you go, you get better, you get stronger. So this is the framework. It's taken many years to develop this, and it's simplified into this: you love people, go places, change lives. It's 4 parts. First, starting with you understanding your journey, your passion, purpose, and calling. Then going up to love people and understanding the people that you feel called to serve. In the you part, we focus on your BHAB statement. Anybody know what I'm talking about? We got some IJs here. Your big, hairy, audacious purpose, right? The big, hairy, audacious problem that you feel called to solve. And there's a who in that statement. And that who, we zoom in on them. First, where you're taking pictures of our feet. I get pictures of people's feet from all around the world sending me these special moments in their life. But then we zoom up and we start looking out at the people that we're here on this planet to serve, and going with empathy to better understand their needs and to better understand the challenges. And through that, all kinds of learning happens. And then we move over to go places where we actually run experiments. We run sprints, bring the you and the who together to actually build MVPs, test this, and scale it. Whether this is in a large organization, like I've coached executives in international multi-million-dollar companies, or a micro startup in a remote village, or a government trying to transform its country, this is the same process you go through. It scales up, scales down, and this is the framework. If you can just remember, you love people, go places, change lives. Yeah, it's all in the shirts and it's the logo and all these things. It's that same circle that you're going around. That's going to be that disciplined, intentional approach that's going to allow you to reach more people, to live out your purpose at the same time. The change lives parts is, how do you tell this story? How do you bring all these elements together and always be pitching, always be telling this story? So that's the gist of it. And then once you get, boy, look at all these images. We're going to share some stories here for a few minutes. Is that okay with everybody? Hey, Serena. Hey. Yep. Okay, cool. So in this image, all of these characters, all these people that are now part of my story, I'm part of their story, they're part of my story. I wouldn't have seen them if I had just stayed in my comfortable position, my government, comfortable salary, the benefits. Man, I started carving out a position for myself. But I felt that calling. I felt it again. Just as I felt that calling a few years earlier to go to Harvard, I felt that calling to public service and to entrepreneurship and to higher education. And it felt crazy. It was scary. I said, I can't do that. Sure, not me. I'm not equipped. I'm not smart enough. I'm not in the right place. I'm not in the right position. How could I possibly do this? Anybody feel that way? We all struggle with that. And if you're a hungry tiger, If you're one of the hungry ones, they're like, hey, I want to go to that next level. You're constantly feeling a little uncomfortable, and that's healthy. The scariest word in the world, I think, is comfortable. But imagine all these faces, all these images that wouldn't have been there if I had just stayed in my comfortable zone. And when you are thinking about taking that next step, taking that action, and we work with so many impact junkies going through these cycles. I got an amazing email this week from Lori, a newer impact junkie, and she's like making the jump. She's doing it. And it was scary, but she says, this is what I meant to do. This is what I've been through. This is what God has taken me through. This is how I'm going to serve other people. And I believe we can make this work. It's not jumping out without thinking and just being crazy, but there is that element of faith, a strong element of faith. And that's so important in this journey. But by faith, see all these people, see all these lives that you're here on this planet with the limited days that you have. Imagine all the lives just waiting for you to step up, cheering for you, saying, don't stop, don't quit, don't give up, and let that be a motivator to you today. And as you're thinking about your inventory, hopefully you're writing down, hopefully you have something to write with, start writing out your life, the things that you have been given, the inventory, taking stock of the past. The way this world was set up is we don't fully understand the future, and we never will fully understand the future. But it was designed in a way that we can learn from the past, we can get confidence from the past, we can grow strength from the past, and that can help us navigate as we go forward into the future. So take a minute right now and just think about the journey you have been on, those mountains, those valleys, those rivers that you've had to cross, and see how that is actually where you're part of your journey, guiding you where you're going to go into the future. I've worked with a lot of people that the most painful days are, in fact, the thing that they are working on, because now that they've been through it, they've experienced it, they know how they can help serve others with this same experience. With that, also, you can combine, it doesn't have to be sad. It's a fire. It's exciting. It's not just saying, oh, it's so sad, and so I have to help other sad people. It's you also have passion that has been placed inside of you, divine spark. There are certain things you like, artistic, design, technology. There are things that were placed inside of you, and those are part of living out your purpose too. Why would God build this life so that 80% or more of your life is spent doing something that feels disconnected from your purpose? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Think about that. And so that's how we often compartmentalize our life, and like, this is my work, or this is my ministry, or this is the impact that I do. Whenever I have time, I give back. But even that phrase, give back, we should be cautious. We should check that word. What does that mean? That means with 80% of my life, the work that I'm doing is actually taking from society. I'm taking so that then I can give a little bit of it back. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it be set up that way? And why should you feel that the work that you're doing is taking from society? If you're adding value into the lives of other people that you're serving, you should be compensated. You should be paid for that. And it's a way we can connect and serve each other. And seeing business, and this is why entrepreneurship is so intertwined with everything I talk about and everything we do, because entrepreneurship is so intertwined to this. There's the faith component, but as an entrepreneur, it allows you to shape your life around that BHAP, that big, hairy, audacious purpose that you're here to live out on this planet, and live every day of your life living that. So we've got a new thing that I'm excited about. If you join, or you already are an active Impact Junkie member, you get access to something I'm really excited to share with you all. This is Go Groups. And so since the beginning, those of you who've been with us on this Impact Junkie journey, I made that jump from the unknown, from the government, that comfortable salary, to I want to go. I feel this calling to more around the world. I feel calling to serve. And how can I live that out? Well, it's been an amazing journey. We talked. There's many other episodes and things we could talk about of toxic charity. Hopefully, you check out the Impact Junkie podcast. You can check that out as well. But it's been a journey to figure out how do we. And here's the this is the line: accelerating opportunities to maximize all human potential. How do we create more opportunities with the 8 billion people on this planet to maximize the potential that exists inside of them, the divine, that God-given purpose that exists in every one of us? That's what we want to do. And I'm constantly driven to develop tools and to help people. I'm living it out, and I've helped so many others live it out. And it's addicting. That's the junkie part as well. So Go Groups is one of our newest tools. I'm so excited to share with you all that you get access to as a member. We're also working on new tools around this, but the idea is you can bring together a small group, you can lead a group as well, and work together over less than 90 days, take them through this framework, and they're guided videos. I've got 12 videos that guide you through. They're less than 20 minutes. Plus, there's questions that you can help facilitate a group and work through. And then what's really exciting is it's not just talking about it. It's not just thinking about it or learning the techniques, but it's actually applying and doing real world experiments. Woo-hoo! Actually doing it. And we actually learn, hey, Ethan, we actually learn by doing, not by just talking about it. Enough talk and a little more action, please. And so we have a lot of churches that are doing these Go Groups and running it right now. I'd love for you all to be a part of this beta test with us. We also have a lot of organizations that are running this with their staff, with their employees, and then individuals that are impact junkies that are wanting to live out their purpose. This is the tool. So I'll share the link here with you all. You can go watch the videos, see what you think. I'd love your feedback and have the guidebooks, and they're all embedded here on the site. And I'd love for you to join, be a part of this. And in addition to that, we also have live Go Groups happening every week around the world. So you can join in as an impact junkie. You can join in other Go Groups that are happening. Woo! And it's so powerful. So there's sessions happening globally. There's sessions in Beaumont, Texas, and Richmond, Virginia. And I'm leading groups. You can join in these groups. So a group in Central Asia, you can join and be part of these groups, listen into what's happening and be part of it. How cool is that? And it's exciting to see impact junkies from opposite sides of the globe come together and be using the same language. Even though one of the Go Groups I'm leading is actually translating in Russian and in English, they're still speaking the same language, if you know what I'm saying. So how cool is that? Hey, everyone. Good to see you all. What a great group we have. So if you're on Instagram, you can't really see the screen, but we'll share the link as well. So check out the Go Groups. Would love for you to test it out with us, get the give us some feedback, and then let's go. We also have the IJ course and really exciting things coming. The goal is to not just have people give to Impact Junkie and Impact Junkie does the work. Go just give to me and I do the work. We want you to be empowered. You be the Impact Junkie. That's been the dream from the very beginning. And I know we have IJs who've been with us from day one and have been for the last 6+ years, have been with us. Thank you for staying with us on the journey. If you go to impactjunkie.co or philipharding.com, you can see some of the stories that have happened and the lives that have been impacted. And if it's all right, if y'all want to see some of the stories, I'd like to share a couple of the stories, some from Honduras, from Central Asia, and West Africa. And these are just in the last year, some of the amazing things that have happened. Also, if anyone has a question, does that sound good, everybody? Yeah? Oh, thumbs up, Brian, thanks. Any questions? You can type them in the chat. Go Groups. Awesome. Okay. let me share with you just a couple of these stories. These are really inspiring. And on the back wall here, you can see my back wall is a lot of the stories. These are the people, the places, the things we've done together that keep you going, especially in those hard days when you want to. It's not all wonderful, but you're not going to quit. And especially when you're reminded reminded of the stories and the people that you've had these experiences with, you're going to keep going. All right, so I'm just going to open up. This might be dangerous. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to open up. Hello. Oh, hello from Honduras. Yes, wonderful. You're in Tegucigalpa. Awesome. So glad you're here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me share. Sorry, if you're on Instagram, I don't have it set up to share the screen the same way, but on Facebook and Zoom here, we got the screen going. All right, so let's see. Where do we want to start? Honduras. Wow, what a cool story. So I know we got people on here from Honduras. So here's some of the images. So we have worked with over 1,000 entrepreneurs this last year in Honduras, have gone through this Impact Junkie framework, and the stories are so powerful. Then it was connected to that. It was connected to a national tour in partnership with Impact Junkie and the U.S. State Department and universities. UTH was there, and Unitec was there, and Teleprogreso, and so many other great partners. We met with mayors in the local cities, as well as many entrepreneurs from coffee plantations out in West Honduras to even going up to islands up in northern Honduras and meeting with the Garifuna, where there's 100 Garifuna that live on this island. And it was such an amazing experience. And I got to play drums with them, and we did a workshop, entrepreneur workshop with them. And it was so inspiring and so cool to see what they're doing. We also gave away, we had the certificates for those who completed the Impact Junkie program. And this is one of them here, which we ended up going and visiting her business in northern Honduras. We actually had to take a boat in through these trees, and it was this beautiful remote vacation place that they had, and they made us food, and it was just wonderful right by the beach up there. So nice. And here are some more of the Impact Junkies we met with. And this was intense. Stops every day, sometimes multiple tour stops every day. And some were inside, some were outside, some were at coffee farms. And this was a beautiful stop with the Lenca women. We actually worked with the mayor in the local village, and we're blessed to meet these Lenca women who were participating in the entrepreneur program as well. They, and I don't have it here with me, it's upstairs, I think, but they actually gave us some Lenca hand woven materials that they had woven by hand, all the material and the fabric. And through the program, they actually got in the back of a truck, and it was the first time they had left their region. They told us that they had left their village and drove a long way across the country to one of our entrepreneur programs, a live entrepreneur fest, and they actually showcased their materials, but did more than just showcasing their materials. They were showcasing how to make the materials as well and testing new innovative things in their business. And it was so inspiring, just so cool. Very, very cool. And then with the universities, we got to meet really amazing things happening, innovative in dentistry and the medical space and technology, really cool things that are happening. This is a video you can find on impactjunkie.co or on my website, philipharding.com as well. So if you hear something you like, let's see some snaps. Oh, there's the drums at the Garifuna. Yeah. Hello. Impact Junkie en ese momento. And that was out on the island with the Garifuna. I saw a TV broadcast. why does loving people, good places change lives?
Y aplicamos esto llevando a las personas yendo a lugares, cambiando vidas,
To turning that idea, to turning that feeling into action.
para hacer que esa idea se haga acción.
Anybody felt that call?
¿Y ha sentido ese llamado?
So cool. So let me share some of the projects and some of the outcomes. Let's see if I have this document ready. Here we go. Here's some of the stories. And Wanda was on here on Instagram, helped put this together with her Mujeres en Negocios. Let's see if we can find it. So this is bringing Honduras together for impact and action. What a cool project this was. Actually, that photo on the bottom showcases the Entrepreneur Fest put together by Linda and the Impact Junkie entrepreneurs. What a cool effort that was. And you can see the Linka women and their beautiful fabrics in addition to the other entrepreneurs there as well. Big shout out to Wanda and Mujeres en Negocios for their partnership on this. And here's the flyer for the tour. Here's all the tour stops. How cool is this? And so many amazing stories like Wendy here, overcoming some major things, but not like how she talks about her physical disabilities and opportunity for personal growth. How inspirational is that? And this is one of the reasons it's so important to be together in this community is you get inspired by other people's stories. You may be feeling down one day or unsure or what is happening, but it's so inspiring just to hear somebody else's story, hear what they're doing. And it can get you going all over again. This was the Christmas market they organized. How cool that was. And then we don't have time to go through all of these. They've been published online and in the printed magazine as well. So you can go back through and read them. But they're just so inspirational. And one of the things that we did there, we were able to do a live broadcast. And it was about an hour on living out your purpose through entrepreneurship. And we had Impact Junkies there in the audience as well, who were sharing their story. And Lourdes, here's Lourdes. What an amazing story Lourdes has. She was diagnosed with polio at a young age in Honduras and was unable to participate in as much schooling as she had hoped to. And she was teased when she did make it by the other kids. And it's inspiring because more than her own business, which she's talking about here, but she's also brought together a group of others that have gone through this and other disabled entrepreneurs. And they're doing amazing things together. And it's so inspiring that she's using her story to do more with what she's been given to help others. It's just so inspiring. So that's a little bit about Honduras. We could go on for hours. Hey, everybody. So let's go back here. Let's see. Let's talk about Burkina Faso. What a great group. This is the Fulani, who some of you may be familiar with if you've been in West Africa. What an amazing group. And this was the first time I got to meet them in person. They're a nomadic tribe. Don't have a national boundary, but they are about 30 million of them spread across West Africa. And they have been facing a lot of terrorism in their region, and ISIS-type groups are surrounding that area and have pushed them down into Ouagadougou, which is probably the coolest capital city in the world. It's up there at the top, Ouagadougou. And they are just so beautiful and have such colorful clothing and culture and will smile on every street corner. And they're living on less than $1 a day in many of these cases. And what's so cool is to work with them to start entrepreneurial ventures and literacy clinics, working with organizations there in the country. It's just so awesome. And we've done a series of sessions there. One of them included, in addition to our work sessions that we did, we also had a dream session by the fire, and we got marshmallows and roasted, which some of you know the stories in Belize where we roasted marshmallows there with the entrepreneurs. Such a great way to connect. Here's actually as video in the service. Look at this drumming. How cool. As you can imagine, it's pretty warm there, like 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, and this is actually, it's actually one of the drums here. I run it back. Bought one of these and bought the new one. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that so cool? Look at the craftsmanship on this. That was so sweet. All hand carved, pretty heavy. And it's got the authentic goat hair here on the edge. You can see that. Yeah, look at that. Wow. All hand done, carved in here. You got your elephant. No, this is the Africa side over here. Super cool. Super inspiring. Almost didn't make it out of there. They were getting ready to stage a coup in the country, and I tested positive for COVID 4 times. So that was quite, that's a story, a much longer story. And here's a drive through Ouagadougou. Passing the goats. Yeah. So that gives you a little taste for that. We've also, what's great is it's opened up opportunities to work with the U.S. State Department on programs with entrepreneurs in the region as well. So in addition to working with all of these people groups and the cultures, there's over 60 different ethnicities in Burkina Faso. We've been able to work with them and empower the leadership. We've also been able to work with entrepreneurs with the U.S. Embassy, and that is so inspiring, those stories as well. And then one last story, there's more to share, but this is in Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan, Central Asia. This was a session in partnership with the U.S. Embassy there as well. You see Steve Drury, the gold standard, right there in front as well, was on this trip, and Clarissa was there. And this was inspiring. It's amazing to be in Central Asia, especially in Kyrgyzstan and some of those regions. You know, the drive for entrepreneurship and living out your purpose is so strong. And there's such an interesting history because most of the people with at least the generation that's, you know, the majority at this point still remembers the Soviet Union and the collapse and how devastating that was and how they recovered from that. Wow, what an amazing story and how inspirational it is. Here's a session, us doing the Impact Junkie empathy mapping and exercises with a group there as well. And every week we have a go group with a group of faith-driven entrepreneurs in that region. This is an amazing, it says out in one of the villages, this is where we were blessed with a sheep eyeballs and sheep brain. They eat the whole sheep. The sheep was alive when we showed up, and we were offered the sheep eyeball as a covenant that we would look after each other. And so we embraced that and really went all in. I think I have some other photos of that here. Yeah, here's me and Steve with the sheep head, not the fish, the actual sheep head. And here we go. Here's how it's going. It started as a live sheep, and then it ended up like this. And they know how to eat the whole thing. That was amazing. But it's amazing to experience these different cultures and love, listen, learn. One of the things we talk about in the empathy phase is how do you understand people where they're coming from to better serve them and better work with them. So there's more to share. All that to say, man, when you're living out your dream, if I had showed myself these stories 6 years ago, especially when I was in that place of uncertainty and I don't know, maybe I should just stay here where I am. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's too much for me. If I could have watched this video and said, Philip, look at the things that are going to happen, the people you're going to be able to work with, the things that you're going to be able to be a part of, how inspired and encouraged would I have been? And I want you to think that way as well today, is look back at the inventory of your life, where God has brought you, the ups and the downs, and where is he taking you to next. And I want to encourage you today that you're not alone. You're not crazy. You can do it. You can live out your God-given purpose. You can increase your income, and you can impact more lives in your world and live out your purpose and hear, well done. It is possible to do all of those things. I'm telling you it is. And I've seen it over and over. I've lived it in my life, and I've seen crazy things happen that I cannot explain any other way than a divine hand, a divine intervention. There's a great book called Chase the Lion we talk about as well with Mark Batterson. Go after God-sized dreams. Go after the big thing that is destined to fail without divine intervention. So I challenge you today, take that action, take that step, go for it. And I know how it feels, how it can feel lonely and unsettling. And that's why we've also got Impact Junkie. We've got the tools, the community, the go groups to keep with it. Keep that consistent meeting week in, week out with other people going through the same journey as you. And then once you go through that circle, you go through that cycle, then start another group. Start it with the people you feel called to serve. And if you have a full-time job, you have commitments, that's okay. You can start this. Just do 1 hour a week. Just like getting in shape. It just takes time. Just start building those habits, building that consistency. And you'll be surprised how far you'll be in 90 days. You'll be surprised how far you'll be in 6 months. And then you look back, like right now, 6 years. If I was that Philip that was taking the train in on the commute, fighting the traffic, thinking, what am I doing? Why am I here? I'm never going to get to travel the world. I'm never going to get to do these entrepreneurial things that I dreamed of. I thought God told me that was going to happen, and I cannot see how it's going to happen. But little by little, consistency, making those jumps into the unknown, surrounding yourself with these characters and learning new lessons and guides and getting the tools that you need to then go to the next level, you'll go through many circles. And since I made that one jump, I've been through many circles, and I've been through many circles with many characters in my journey as well. But we're going up the mountain, going up the mountain. We're going up the mountain. So be encouraged. You have the tools, the support that you need. I'm so encouraged by you all. It's so good to see you all. I just love that there's people from all over the world joining these on the live. Hey, I love that you're joining these, and a part of it that I can't even imagine these relationships wouldn't even have been there. I wouldn't even know who you were. Oh, it's so great. Boro, woo! Oh, so glad you're here. Boro's from Burkina Faso and Ouagadougou. Oh, Boro, I'm so glad you're on here. Love you, my friend. I love you. All right. Well, if you have any questions, type it in the chat. Go to impactjunkie.co, get plugged in with the Go group. Would love to work with you week in and week out. We'll have more live sessions like this to keep each other inspired, encouraged, empowered to live out your purpose. That's what it's all about. Life is fleeting. If you've read Ecclesiastes recently, you see, man, life is short. Everything you think you know, let's make the most of every day that we have been given, and it can be fun. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's so hard, it's so miserable. You can enjoy life. You can live every day of your life saying, this is what I'm here on this planet to do. I'm not promising it's always going to be easy, but I'm promising that it's going to be fulfilling. You're going to love it, and you can increase your income. You can live out that dream that you've always wanted to do because you're not going to give up. So, hey, it's great to see. Hey, Zuri's on. Jackie, what's up? Woohoo! Oh, so good to see you. We're just living out our purpose, y'all. What are you doing? All right. Brian, do you have any questions? That's so good to see you. So everyone, take a picture of your feet tonight. That's the first step we do with every go group. Take a picture of your feet. The reason we take a picture of our feet is not just because we like our shoes or our feet, but we want to really remember the moment. Really think about how you feel right now. I hope what you've heard in this session today inspires you to really take stock of everything you've been given, where you are in this moment, right now in your life, and what are you going to do with what you've been given? What are you going to do going forward from this point? Start with that. And then write a letter to yourself. If you go to that Go Groups page, there's a guide that actually helps you write a letter to yourself. How I'm feeling. Here's what I hope will happen. Here's what I hope will not happen. And this has been one of the greatest gifts I've given to myself on this wild and crazy journey is, Philip, here's how I'm feeling. Here's what I'm doing. If this works, please come back and say thank you because this is really hard right now. And it's also helped guide me and keep me centered on what things are happening and where I'm going and help me connect the dots. Sometimes we're so busy and life is set up with so many distractions. It's just noise, noise, noise. Can we pause to reflect and connect those dots of where we're meant to go? Cool. Sound good? Woo! Oh, I love it. I see snaps. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, everybody. Hope to see you live in a Go group as well. And keep loving people, going places, changing lives. Thanks for joining. Great to see you. Bye.